Hello and welcome to Jabberjaw. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me, as always, is Tyson Wheeler Dynas and Matthew David Smith. Guys, welcome.
Thanks.
Pew pew pew.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Pew pew pew.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Good.
Too bad. Not too
Yeah.
bad.
I just had to pretend
Loving
like
the
we,
weekend. Yeah.
Yes.
always pretend
Yeah.
like we didn't talk before we turned on the record button. It's so fun.
I know, right?
We're coming into
It's
this.
all a lie. Just a
It's all-
lie for entertainment.
That's
It
right.
is.
That's right.
Spreading them.
What
Yeah.
entertainment isn't a lie, to be fair. So,
That's true.
Yes, that's true.
oh, I just thought of something to plug. Anyway,
Very good. Well, I'm in Michigan. We came up to Michigan this weekend to see my little nephew.
Yes.
So that's why I'm in a undisclosed dark location. But we'll see if we can't wrangle him in here at some point. Show the viewing audience something cute for a change.
yeah,
I love it. Yes, please. God,
something
they need
else.
it.
And then
Yeah.
straight in the tragedy that was this week. But first, something cute.
But first, something adorable.
Yeah. We're having a good time. Just cold. Really cold. Is it cold there?
I was going to ask how cold it was there.
It's cold. It's I don't know, like 30s probably. It's pretty cold.
It's like 38 degrees here, but it's spitting. There's going to be like maybe a little snow later tonight,
Yeah.
but not much.
It's nice.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
a lot
even
of
know what
snow
it is here.
north.
30.
30. Is that good
Yeah.
for Denver this time of year?
It's better than it has been this week. It was like 19 and snowing. What was it? Wednesday? Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, you guys got a big storm because
Yeah,
it went
it
right north
sucked.
of us.
Yep.
It sucked.
Hayes is getting it right now.
Are
But
they?
I think they're happy to get it because the precipitation has been next to none,
Yeah.
I feel like, for months. So
Yeah.
enjoy it, Haitians.
They need that moisture. They
Yep,
really
they
need the
do.
moisture.
They love it. God.
Well,
And
to be
snow
fair,
dances out in their front yards.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's so funny when we moved to Florida. I know Matt probably went through this too. They have a rainy season, so it rains every day, just like 10 minutes later every day.
Ooh, yeah.
So for like 7 months, it just rains every day, which is just a trip. Growing out in Western Kansas, it's just like, what is happening here?
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was. 'Cause
I've
it was
never
kind of
experienced
awesome
this
though,
before.
because it
Yeah.
was like sort of built-in cooling system. Like it just
Mhm.
like would rain for like 15 minutes, and then it was the weird. But yeah, you're right. Like it kind of freaked me out. That and like people like winter, like wearing their heavy winter coats when it was like 55 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Like well, we would still be in shorts in Western Kansas, and they were they had themselves and their plants all bundled up for winter. It was like barely below 6. I remember shivering.
That's hilarious.
I remember like when I was working downtown Orlando in like 2010, 2011, I went downstairs to smoke a cigarette. And I remember like being like, oh my God, it was like 68 degrees outside.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be
Oh
kidding
my
me. Like,
God.
It's your blood thins out when you be there for a
Yeah.
couple of years. So like what happens is then I'd come home and be like the biggest puss on the planet. And it'd be like everybody,
It does.
like
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, you get used to it. It's kind of hard going the other way. It's harder going the way
I was
the other
going
way
to say,
back.
it must have been such an adjustment to move back
it
to the
was.
Midwest
But it was
after
also
being there. Yeah,
it was also
for many reasons.
also moving into a place that's that humid was a big thing. I don't think I remember laughing because I used to park right across the door from my first apartment there. So like literally across the street, like a side of the street. And I would just be soaking wet by the time I got to the car.
Oh,
And that took about 2 years to get past that, and then it took about an entire winter to get used to being cold again.
That's why most of our focus in Orlando was staying hydrated, as I recall, and we did a good job of staying hydrated.
Yeah, even if that hydration was actually working as a dehydration agent,
it very well could have been. I think that's what science says.
There
I'm
it
going
is.
to disagree, just for legacy purposes.
it was a trip, and then I was like, oh, I lost it. Never mind. It's been one of those mornings already.
Hey, I get it. This
yeah.
is my first cup of coffee, so if I say
this is
anything
an
weird,
early podcast for us. If people behind the ether don't know, like this is we're doing this like 2:30 afternoon. So
on a
Eastern.
Saturday, no less.
On a
for
Saturday,
you
no
people.
less. So
That's how much we love you.
All of us have probably been up for about the same
And
amount
each
of
other.
time.
Yeah. I can't sleep until noon anymore. And I'm getting to the point where I can't sleep until 10. And I'm like, what is happening to my life?
I can only do it in
Sucks.
to this day. My parents' basement is the
Yeah,
only
Right?
place
Oh
I
my
can
God.
because
Yeah.
that's where I grew up when I was a teenager. Had my bed
Yep.
when I back in the magical days of when I absolutely could do that. But to this day, it's just I think it's that dark and whatever it is. I love sleeping in the basement. So
yeah,
Oh, me too. There's nothing like it.
yeah.
I miss it.
Really. Yeah, me too. That's funny. It's just like it's so dark in our basement. Well, in everybody's basement, I suppose. Like you could literally, if you literally might not wake up till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon if left alone. To your own devices. You know.
It's true.
But here, like about 10 is about as late as I can stay up, and if that's about if I s- or s- I can 10 is about as late as I can sleep unless I was up till like 3 in the morning, which doesn't
yeah,
happen very often anymore, to be honest. Uh, which it shouldn't, I suppose. Um, yeah.
It sucks. I
Oh,
miss
yep.
staying up until like 3 or 4 and
Yeah.
then sleeping until noon.
Yeah.
Ah,
uh,
so
This
good.
has been our
them's were
weekly
the
we're
days.
we're
Yeah.
getting
Yeah, right.
old segment.
Jabberjaw's getting old. I mean, this is our 80th episode, so
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
we're golden girls now.
I was talking to Will, my brother-in-law downstairs before this. When you were talking, he didn't know we like most people, he didn't know that we did a podcast.
I
And
love that.
he's
That's
family.
amazing.
And he was like, he said, well, how many episodes have you done? I'm like, I think we're right about 80. And so that's interesting.
Yep.
Here we are at 80, but he was like, so he's got about 80 hours of content. And I was like, well, no, we probably got, I don't know, closer to 130, 140 hours of content like this.
Yes.
We go by our average episode. He's like, wow, you have more original content than the original Star Trek. And I was like, you indeed. So,
I guess so.
so congratulations to us today for
Hey,
Yeah.
way
I
to
mean, what was that? What
go.
was that? Roddenberry? Who was the Star Trek guy?
Yeah,
Gene
Gene Roddenberry.
Roddenberry. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, the astrophysicist would go directly to the Star Trek.
But,
So, yeah.
but I felt it, and that's the important thing. Is I felt it meant something to me. I should have said.
Yeah, we're literally close to being syndicatable, even though this is technically syndication, because it happens almost every week. But yeah, we have been doing it a minute, and I would say that with the Nick Cage episode, that was like 3 hours or something ridiculous like that.
It was. That was our longest episode
It
for
was very
sure.
long.
we reviewed all his movies, and then the Titanium episode was long too because we walked through every scene practically in that.
Yeah, and I think we scared a lot of people actually from that episode.
Very possible.
Well,
It's the only time I remember getting like multiple messages from our fans saying,
Oh,
"I'm
shit.
never going to watch it now." Thank you for that. Yeah,
well, it is something.
it is. It
We
is.
have learned. We haven't re-reviewed it, so I
That's
guess we're.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
I'm
very
waiting for
true.
the next bonkers movie to come out, then we can really
Oh, me
dive in.
too. I keep my eyes open for it every week, and I'm like, nope, it's just trash
Yeah.
lately. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think probably the next movie that I can think of that we might want to dedicate what am I thinking of? Well, the Dracula movie looks quite good.
Oh, the
Oh,
Red Film.
yes.
Something else coming out, and it just slipped my mind that we've been. Tyson, I think you sent us the trailer a while back. I can't think of it right now, but
Is it a movie or a TV show?
yeah, it was a movie that I remember thinking we need to see this together. It was that important.
Well, Shark Side of the Moon. That was a good one. That's about sharks on the
Oh
moon.
God.
I can't remember what it's called now. Maybe I imagined the whole thing, but pretty sure.
Yeah, no. I saw Nick Cage did. Speaking of Nick Cage, um, I need to send something to the group. I'll send it to you later. Something Beth found because she's on a bunch of forums. She got a double cystectomy, and then it's called Nippleless Cage. And it's a picture of Nick Cage with no shirt on and no nipples.
Oh, I've seen that. It's beautiful. Yes. Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
But he had a movie come out. He had a Western come out last week.
That he did. I was going to ask you guys if you had checked it out yet or not, but
I mean, it's one of his, like throwaway movies, like he was doing.
he's got to keep the lights on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's still paying back, I think, all his bankruptcy shit. So he's like,
Is he still paying that back? I thought he finally paid
oh,
it off.
he might be, but
I thought
like
he
I
sold
could be
that
wrong about
T-Rex
that.
head and like he was cool after that. Like he had that T-Rex head and sold it.
yeah.
Or
What
maybe it was just a direct exchange with the U.S. government. They're like, IRS, like, that's pretty cool.
That's
Tell
right.
you what.
The IRS is famous for their bartering.
Well, yeah. And they're all getting fired, so might as well get what you can out of it. But that's a tale for another day.
Yeah,
that it is.
I broke up with our H&R lady. Oh wow, now it is actually really snowing right now. I broke up with our H&R block lady this week.
How did it go?
Well, she dropped me an email, and I said, I was like, thank you for your work the last 2 years, but we found somebody else. And she didn't respond to the email, but I got a call from H&R Block the next day, which I didn't answer because I've been trying to avoid the fact that she had us overpay $16,000 and change on taxes last year.
Overpaying that
Over,
much?
so I was like, no, we got to find somebody else.
Whoa!
And then when we found somebody else, they were like, I reviewed last year's taxes and they did not do it correctly. I was like, oh shit. Okay. So anyway, but I didn't really want to have that conversation with her. She's a nice lady. I will miss
Yeah,
listening
but
to.
H&R Block sucks. I used them a couple times in New York, and they ripped me off. Well, kind of a similar situation. Not that much money, but it was over what I should have paid.
Yeah.
I just would like to say a plug for Jonas's cousin, CPA Jay. I think he listens to the show. Jay, you're the best. And can I give Tyson your number?
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Yeah.
He's great. Honestly, he's the best accountant I have ever worked with. And I'm not
CPAJ is
saying that.
really easy to remember. So,
right? He should be on a billboard,
CPA,
honestly. Yeah.
Well, he can certainly sponsor. You could if he gives you a discount on your tax filing. We could do a little plug for him. I mean, we just did, but we could do an actual.
I mean, we did, yeah. So
Yeah. But did you get the 20% off?
I don't want to say what we pay because it's stupid. I can't say. He's told us not to say.
Is it a case of beer?
It's about that. It's about that. The man is a legend in our house.
Well, I'm a big fan of our new CPA. She was. I've never seen her face to face, but doesn't matter.
Nice. All right. Well, that's good.
She told me how much it was going to cost to do the filing, and I was like, yeah, that's fair. And she's like, I thought you wouldn't mind considering how much money you're going to get back. So we're she's going to refile last year's taxes, so we'll get that money back. So yeah. So I'm going to buy a trampoline. No, I have no idea. No, probably not. I'm too old for trampoline activities. I don't.
Yeah, they scare me at this age.
We don't heal like we used to.
It was weird that you were talking about trampolines because on the drive up here, I had this. We were talking about something. We were also talking about trampolines because apparently, I don't know, it's just out there. It's
a zeitgeist thing.
It is the zeitgeist, and I remember distinctly that I had a neighbor, like a friend who lived in Wichita when I was a kid, and they kind of lived out in the rural area around Wichita, but they had an in-ground trampoline.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Oh.
And
I haven't seen one of those, actually.
Yes, because they were insanely dangerous. But it was actually built into the ground. And I can't be 100% sure, but I think it was surrounded with concrete like a pool. Like, I think they built it like a pool. I mean, it was really big. But at the same time, so anyway, they don't make those anymore. That's one of those fun things. Yeah.
Well, there was my grandparents in Hayes, the across the street neighbor. I can't remember his name. He was the voice of KUIS for 50 years or whatever. But anyway, he had an in-ground trampoline. So I just thought that was amazing, right? So you don't even have to work to get up on the trampoline.
Right.
You just saunter over to the trampoline.
Casually walk over, start bouncing, walk off. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And if you fell, you weren't gonna jackknife yourself on the edge of the thing. You would hit the side, but half of you would hit the grass. So it was, ultimately, I think it was safer because there was no concrete around it. I mean,
Yeah, that's
Right.
probably that was probably
trampoline.
he probably had a better engineer on that job than the one that a real trampoline man.
Yes. I know you know who they are, Matt, because you've told me about. You went to high school with the kid. But anyway, I can't remember his name. It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
Trampolines matter, Tice.
Trampoline. Sorry, you're right.
Trampolines matter.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't believe it. Sorry. So the Chiefs are playing in a little bit. So that's kind of why we're doing it so early on
Oh,
Saturday.
Chiefs? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty worried about it. This team, Jackson.
I am too.
Jacksonville came
Jonas
back
is
from
not, and that's never a good sign.
27. They came back from 27-0. I don't know if you remember I was saying I think they can come back and win, and they fucking did. And I blew my mind. So I'm a little nervous about it. But I will.
Chiefs are a second half team though. So if the Jags come back, like it's going to be a battle no matter what. I feel like it's going to be a good game, but I'm worried.
Yeah, I was watching the local news today. You want to just take you'll never guess, but just take a shot. Who do you think is performing at halftime at the Chiefs game today? It won't be on TV. But when I saw it, I was
like
like,
a local person? Is it
no.
a local Kansas
No,
City artist?
it's a national star.
Because I was going to guess Tech 9.
No, but that's a good guess. Yes.
Okay.
You're
I
never
was
gonna
behind the Tech 9 van at Taco Bell in Lawrence one night, and I don't know what the hell they
shit.
ordered.
How was
It took
that?
like 40 minutes. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm pretty sure they had the munchies out of control.
I'm sure they were very
yeah.
underpriced. Yes,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you don't argue with a van that has Tech 9 written on the side of it.
No,
You
no,
your
you
turn.
do not.
Yeah,
You
your
just,
turn.
yeah, read a book. Wait, yeah.
read a book. Come back later. Yeah.
Little John is performing at halftime.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wow,
That's
okay.
kind of fun.
Little John.
Little John.
Little John. Yeah,
Little John.
That's how they spell it. The guy that goes, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, if it wasn't for, I guess, Chappelle's show and the Home Party Club, I wouldn't know who that was.
That's very true.
No,
I wouldn't either.
Sorry, not Home Party Club. I did not go to that place except for maybe once when I moved back to Kansas, but
I went there a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my only knowledge of like early 2000s hip hop. Like that's where I learned what skeet was. I mean, it's a very
skeet.
Yep. Of my life. Yeah.
That's where I learned that. I had one of my most terrifying memories from it was actually the first time I went to the Home Party Club, and it was just me, my boyfriend at the time, Austin, and his friends. And there was this woman who was just like this, like big black woman by herself dancing to my neck, my back, lick my pussy, and my crack. And her dance moves to this day just give me nightmares. It was very graphic, and all of the guys could not keep their eyes off of it. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, well,
Party Club, we have arrived. Yeah,
she's putting it out there.
She was. I loved it. I high-fived her afterwards. I was like, good for you. That was a show.
It was a show.
Yep.
In the dance pit, yeah.
The pit.
Or I guess they filled the pit in, didn't they? Like they did like a renovation when they got the VIP room, like at some point.
I think so. At some point, yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to consult its Wikipedia page and see what the history.
I always thought it was funny. Like that whole 2 men enter, 1 man leave, 1 man leaves. It was.
That's
So 2 girls enter, 20 guys enter. That was basically how I remember it being like, oh, good. You guys not even going to try the ratio thing here. That's good.
Nope.
It was like peacocking. They're just trying to who can do the best.
Good times. Good memories.
Good times. Great music.
The best. The best.
It was a little bit though, when I went. So like I the first year I went was 94. So it was they're still rocking the kind of like power ballads, from like Motley Crue and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that went away pretty fast. But like
you can still hear a lot of those at Toby Jugs, I feel like.
Yeah, probably.
Another bar in Hayes, America. Great name.
There's one bar
Yes.
for every 5 people in Hayes, America. Uh,
That's the
It's almost
first
true.
bar I drank at.
there is it?
Yeah.
How old were you?
It, it was in high school, so that's all that really
Okay.
matters.
But
That's
did
about
you have
right.
a
But
did
it's
they
under
not?
new ownership, so I guess that now a very lovely woman named the bartender named B used to serve us, and I think she just thought everyone looked younger than her, which was true, and so like, a lovely, nice woman. Like, yeah, it was great. It was great.
Of
Reminded
course
me
you
of a
liked
teacher, only she was giving me alcohol.
her.
That's
Big deal.
lovely.
She's
Yeah.
like, these fucking kids are lightweights. I've never seen, I've never seen a 21-year-old lightweight like this kid before, especially in western Kansas.
What's wrong with you?
Haven't you been
Uh,
stealing beer your whole life? Uh, yeah. I think I did read that there was one bar for every 500 people in Hayes at one point.
I'm sure that's
That
probably
makes sense.
true.
It's probably
Yeah.
closer to like 300 people, to be honest with you.
You
There's a
only
lot.
had a base population of about 14,000 without the university 20 years
Yeah, I
ago.
was
So
going to say
it's
when school wasn't in session and then when it
30,
was, what,
30,
25,
34
26?
places with liquor
Yeah.
licenses. Yeah, I'd say that's probably
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, congratulations.
Yeah. Way to go. Did you know that Hayes was I'm sure you guys do know because you're big Hazelophiles. But Hayes was written up as the best or Fort Hayes was written up as the best parties university in Playboy in like 1970.
That is true. I knew
Oh,
that. Yeah.
no shit. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Wow, that's a fun fact.
And that was when my dad was going there, which I thought was kind of interesting. My dad was also
Also, All
up,
American City in 1996.
That's
yeah.
correct.
And
All America City. It doesn't even sound right.
it doesn't
All American City, I get. All America City
That's true. That's
talks like people from Hayes, America. Yes.
I was working at a factory getting ready to move to Florida in 1996 when they announced that, and we were listening to the radio all day because that's what you did in the factory. That sounds like my factory days. Anyway, and they were going on and on about what a big deal that was, and I kept remember thinking like, well, if it's such a big deal, then why have I never heard of it before? But whatever.
It's funny. When I was in high school, I think I was probably a sophomore, a junior, but it was when Hayes was like pitching Sykes. Was that or what it was called, or was called something before that?
So you
I
I think it
think
was
it
Sykes.
You mean
No, I think it was Sykes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was Sykes when they. So this is like mid '90s, and so
Yeah.
they were trying to like woo them. Like the Economic Development Commission was trying to woo them, and so one day, like the entire high school, this was just something we did. Um, because there probably wasn't football practice. But they had everybody in the school come out, and we had to like arrange ourselves. I
Oh
think
my
in like
god.
the Sykes logo, and then they either had like a crane or
God
a
damn it.
helicopter came over and took like because there are no drones back in the day.
Yeah.
And they took like a shot of us, like, but it was just like something our school did for so I think it was a huge deal because I don't think there'd ever been anything like 1,000 jobs coming to Hayes, Kansas. I mean, I just
Yeah.
outside the university and hospital, I'm sure it was just a huge.
What was this? What was Sykes? Is that the Uwassa Exide plant, or is that or what is Sykes? I forget. What was
Sykes was originally a third party. Um, they did software support, like hardware and software support, and I actually worked there. My senior year over Christmas, I actually worked on Christmas because it was a great gig. Like you worked for like 2 weeks and you got paid like $2,500, which was like I'm rich. Like when I was in high school.
Yeah. Everyone
So
wanted to work there. Yeah.
I'm
and so
quitting high school.
we did training for like a week and a half, and then we actually just worked for 3 days. And this
Wow.
was when these were like CD-ROM based games for PCs, like back in the like mid 90s. So like everything had compatibility problems and driver issues.
Uh-huh.
And it was hilarious because I got some of the foulest talking parents on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Like,
Oh my God. I
game
love
isn't
that.
working. My kid's screaming his head off, and on our occasion, you would hear like children like crying in the background, and it was just like it was. $2,500, and so yeah,
Oh shit, yeah.
yeah. I'm pretty sure
It's
I
been
bought
worth
a
it.
Street Fighter 2 machine with that windfall. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Not
Wow.
bad.
No.
yes. So
Good times.
We're kind of strapped for time, but I'm gonna remind me to tell you about the woman I worked with at the factory who used to be in the carnival.
In the
I'll
carnival?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll
that's
put a pin in that. Yeah,
yeah.
We will. We'll circle back on that for
we really
sure.
we may need to devote an entire extra long, extra special episode.
Yes.
I can actually take that story and stretch it out to like 45 minutes. It's such a
very good.
crazy story. But anyway, I won't.
Holy shit. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that soon.
All right,
All right. You want to do some headlines?
see some
Sure.
headlines.
All right.
I can barely hear you.
I know it was too loud this week. Sorry, everyone. You didn't hear me scream.
That's all right. It's too loud this week. Okay, so I have a
It's on
bunch of
full
headlines.
blast.
These are really silly headlines, so I didn't.
Excellent.
Yeah. So Rainbow Six Siege player accidentally calls cops on himself after confessing to double homicide. He actually did. He was playing this video game called Rainbow Six Siege, and he accidentally dialed 911 when his phone was in he butt dialed 911 and then proceeded to say, "I killed 2 people," but he was talking to somebody on the headphone. So 2 minutes later, uh, several police showed up, and then they just completely searched his house for 4 hours, put him in cuffs, and he was just like, and so anyway, he didn't get in any trouble, but it's like what's a bad luck. And if you look this story up, I found this on IGN's website, IGN.com.
Uh-huh.
But there's a video because he had a Ring bell, so you see him come out talk to the cops, which is kind of hilarious. And then some guy who was his friend, uh, told the full story about what happened. He said, after 4 hours, the officer asked while detaining Elijah, "Who's your favorite operator?" I had to look that up, but operator is one of the characters in the game. So the cop knew what happened, but they still had to search the house. So anyway, poor bastard. Let's see. Sorry. Kevin Gates opens up about enjoying women urinating in his mouth.
Oh God. I
Okay.
wasn't ready for that one yet. Okay.
Kevin Gates. Okay, I just first off, I don't know if it's a pun when Kevin Gates opens up about enjoying women urinating in his mouth.
Huh?
I don't know if that's a pun or not. Um, so he was on a podcast called Fancy Talk Show, which one of you has to admit to enjoy getting pissed in your mouth. We want to get numbers like Fancy Talk Show gets.
I'm
But
not admitting it. That's up to you guys.
uh,
'Cause it's not true. That's disgusting.
so they ask him about
Merch
this.
first. Let's go the merch route. Then we'll.
I don't know how this came up in conversation, but they asked him whether he enjoyed having women urinate in his mouth during sex, and this is what he said. He said, "I love for a woman to piss in my mouth. That's beautiful." He went on to say, "I had a woman pee in a cup while we were driving, and I drunk it." Again, rapper. Because it was nothing. I was so infatuated with this woman to where it was just nothing about her that was nasty. And then she's super clean. She's like me. She doesn't drink nothing but water all day, so her piss ain't got no taste. Um,
Oh God.
so there you go. So Kevin Gates, thank you, Kevin, for making us laugh about love again. Um, this is from our, this is
Ugh.
here's a little local news for you from state government. Wyoming Republicans take a stand, want to ban electric cars. The subheadline is, or the tagline is, as childish legislation starts to go, this one is certainly pathetic. But basically, I'm not going to read any of this, but basically what they're saying is that the state of Wyoming has a lot of people employed by the oil industry, and having electric cars is going to shut that down. Um, because they don't use oil to like heat houses and shit like that. So Um, and that's Wyoming. This is kind of weird, but I only read this because or I've only mentioned this because there's a part in this story that made me laugh. Research confirms a fact about the clitoris that the ancient Greeks understood. The genital organ was misunderstood for centuries. Okay, so it basically goes on to talk about that there's 10,000 nerve fibers in the clitoris. But this is the part that just made me laugh. If it sometimes seems that medical science has been far more interested in the penis than the clitoris. Indeed, up until very recently, the number of nerve endings thought to be on a woman's clitoris was only an estimate and was based on research on cows. So, you know.
What? Wow.
uh,
Jesus.
yeah, the clit, always getting the shaft. Hey-o!
Always. Hey. It's like, where is it? All right.
I just thought of that. Thank you. This is probably my favorite story of the week. This is my favorite story of the week. Flo Rida, who is a dance artist, awarded $82 million in lawsuit against
Amazing.
energy drink company. So that's crazy. But like, here's the really crazy part. So basically, they totally screwed him. They were supposed to give him a bunch of stock options. They were supposed to pay him extra money if they had increased the thing, units of drinks, but the contract was all nebulous, and then so it would be like, based on if we sell 1 million units in a certain amount of time, you're going to get X amount of money and stock options. But they said units. They didn't say cans or cases or anything like that. It was all just a terrible contract. And anyway, this is the amazing part. Um, he was initially seeking $30,000 in damages, but was ultimately awarded $82,650,450 after jurors sided with him in the lawsuit. Now, this company is Celsius, and they make these energy drinks, right? Now, how fired is their lawyer who wouldn't settle out of court for $30,000? How fast did he
Guy
just turn
is a
into
dead man.
Who they
yeah,
also probably paid a couple $1 million to handle this lawsuit for them in the
Right.
first place. So,
Right.
I mean,
yeah,
$30,000 seems like nothing. I mean, I couldn't be
In
happier
comparison, yeah.
for Flo Rida, and I've never even thought anything about Flo Rida except that his, I think his name is based on Florida, but that's the only thing I've ever thought about Flo
that was
Rida.
always my assumption, but I could be
I
Me
wrong.
think he
too.
is. I think
I
he
haven't
is.
looked into it.
I
Yeah.
think he is from Florida. I mean, if he's
That
getting
would make sense. Yeah.
energy drink sponsorships, he's probably from Florida.
Yep.
Um, and then this is just I just thought this was interesting. A TikTok of husband calling at the Iowa State Fair is going viral. Yes, it's real. So the Iowa State Fair has a husband calling contest, much
Oh,
like
that's right.
they have a
Yeah.
pig calling contest and they have a children family calling contest. Um, and so if you go online, you can find this. This is in USA Today, but if you look up Iowa State Fair husband calling contest, you can actually watch the finalists. And my favorite part
Can
about it,
we go see that sometime, guys? I
I
feel
would
like that's
definitely
right
go.
up our alley.
They had 12
I
to
would love
15.
that.
They get 12 to 15 entries per year on average, and they just give the top five. They whittle it down to the top five, and then they have um, and then the grand prize is $5. So that's awesome.
Nah, that's awesome.
That is so state fairy. It's amazing.
That is.
And to make it even more state fairish, they all get participation ribbons, regardless who takes first.
Oh,
Very
okay.
nice.
That I was gonna ask if they got a ribbon. That's awesome.
Yeah, I
Let's
guess.
go.
Yeah, this is one lady. She's been there many many times. Apparently, she's an all pro. So, uh, yeah. Anyway, those are my headlines. A bunch of silly
Well
stuff.
done.
Very
I love
nice.
it. It's great.
Next.
Well, I
Smith,
didn't
what
have a
happened
lot.
this week?
Unfortunately, I'm going to talk about not so serious stuff. We'll start off a little light, and then, it's funny. It's funny because it's George Santos. Now, I don't know
Yes.
that we may have touched on George Santos a little bit, but and I think even another scandal has broken since I bookmarked this. But Vice News: George Santos accused of stealing thousands of dollars from a dying dog's GoFundMe.
Well,
he set up
God.
a fake GoFundMe for someone's dog. I mean, it was a real GoFundMe for a real dying dog. He just neglected to actually give the money to the person
Wow.
who
And
actually owned
wasn't it a veteran's dog?
it. I think so.
Like a homeless veteran's
This
dog that
dude,
was
like,
dying.
it's
Yeah.
almost like he made a tick list of embarrassing shit that could be found out about me. Like he's like under investigation like Brazil for like check fraud. There was this whole thing this week where there were photos as a drag queen, and then he like
Yep.
went out and completely denied that there were and then someone published the photos and he said, okay, yes, I was a drag. I mean, it's been scandal after scandal. His mother, they've proven, he said his mom died on 9/11. She
Yeah.
was not in New York at the
She
time.
was
In fact,
not,
she
yeah.
died in 2006. I mean, it's just hysterical. But the funniest part about it is really how much McCarthy needs him because their margins are so slow. So
Yep.
they actually gave him a committee appointment, which is insane, but they
Sure.
did. And so it's going to be really good. But he's going to basically be the Republican equivalent of that Democratic kid who was in the Kansas legislature,
Oh,
who was
right.
just a real schmuck. And it'll be interesting to see how much the Democrats like push to like keep him on if they actually take the same route as the Kansas legislature, to sort of vote against it so they can't remove him as a member. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see play out. But anyway, George,
just a thing. I was reading about it, and in the history of the House of Representatives, they've only removed 7 members in their entirety of the
no
time.
kidding, really?
Wow.
One was kind of recently because he had fraud and all this shit. But like 3 of them were basically like people that were still supporting slavery, after the Civil War
Well,
started. So I mean, like, and they just don't.
it's unfortunate those rules still don't apply.
well, well, it's so weird too because like it's just such a hassle to do, and then like I guess like McCarthy's like, well, or whatever, like the kind of the prevailing thought, which just blows my mind, is that the voters are supposed to take care of this in 2 years or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, all right. I mean, that guy's
Yeah.
not gonna. I mean, he did everything he could to be famous, obviously. So,
Right.
so he's not going anywhere.
No, heck no. Why? No, it's paying off. He's going to be there for a full 2 years. Yeah.
That's right.
It's like he gives like Bobert and Gates somebody to look down on. Like that's his role now.
I did see a headline today, and I didn't read the story, but it said that he has claimed that he's on an episode of Hannah Montana. So that is
What?
yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I haven't read it. I don't know anything about it, but
Some poor bastard from the New York Post right now is going through every episode of Hannah Montana.
maybe not a poor, but
that sucks.
maybe they're a super fan and they volunteered for this story.
Speaking of highly,
Maybe.
I think she's got like the #1 hit in the nation right now. I think she's back
She
on
does.
the. I don't know
Back
what
on
the
the
song
charts.
is, but she's back on top.
It's called Flowers, and it's about her
Flowers.
ex-boyfriend Liam Hemsworth.
Oh, okay.
The new Witcher.
Mm.
Didn't she stop dating him? Didn't she stop dating him like 10 years ago? Why do I know this? Jesus Christ.
Because you know the hot goss.
That's
Okay,
funny.
so they broke up like 3 or 4 times,
Oh, okay.
apparently, over the years. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is that final jab.
She got a Dior product placement. Have you seen that commercial that she's in for like?
I have not seen the commercial, but I did see that she got that.
She and like
gig.
somebody else like Katy Perry. They're trying to, because I think Dior is like trying desperately to get young people to buy their stodgy old shit. So that's my guess. I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine now. And just a couple kind of related quick ones at the end. McConnell, U.S. will never default on its debt. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to default on our debt in about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
I am absolutely confident this will happen. If I'm not going to pretend like I fully understand this, but basically it has been sort of done forever that we essentially raise the amount of debt we allow ourselves as a country to take on every year. And because obviously we're spending more money, that debt level increases, but you have to raise that level in order to pay for shit that you already bought. So we're kind of in this mess right now. And it's a little bit different this time, but right now they're basically saying we have hit that limit right now. And so anything we spend, I guess, subsequent, I don't know if they run the fiscal year. Anyway, there's going to be a huge fight. We've done this forever as a matter of course, just to raise it. Is it good? No, but it's become a reality of government. It's just become a mechanism of how the Congress, it unfortunately works. It's part of the dysfunction. And once that happens, what theoretically happens if we cannot pay back our creditors, then our credit rating as a nation goes down. And so basically as a nation, we have to go get a Discover card. And that
Diners
the
Club,
opinions
baby.
here are expressed are my own and not the reflection of Jabberjaw or so anyway, it's gonna be really interesting because Biden's basically saying nothing. He's basically like, nope, we're not negotiating a thing with you on this. And they're like, but we want to make cuts, and he's like, nope, we're not going to negotiate. So it's going to turn into a huge debacle. It's going to give the rebels their chance to leverage shit. So it's going to turn into that, but it's going to be even bigger. So anyway, it's gonna be fun. So look forward to that coming soon.
Yeah.
To a C-SPAN near you. And the related article, and I'd actually heard about this a few years ago. And this is from NPR. And the title of the article is would a $1 trillion coin buy time to resolve the debt ceiling debate? Have either of you heard of this sort of?
I've heard of.
I haven't heard of it.
It's like,
so basically the theory is, and it is sound according to U.S. law, is that if we are out of money and cannot pay our debtors back, then the U.S. Treasury mint a one-time $1 trillion coin, and they hand it to the Federal Reserves, and there's $1 trillion. Yes. So
completely. Completely
it's a really
legal.
kind of fascinating theory. Go ahead, Tyson.
No, I was just it's completely legal. It's crazy pants and inflation and yada yada yada, but it is legal.
Wow.
And I didn't recollect this, but the NPR in the article I read, they actually said that the Simpsons made a reference to this, or a joking reference.
Of course they did. Yes,
yeah. They made a but there's an episode where Mr. Burns had stolen $1 trillion bill, and anyway, go ahead.
So, no, that's pretty much all I had. Just kind of an interesting kind of thing that theoretically is a move that the president could unilaterally, I think, make to get out of this mess if it came to that. So that would be, I don't know, really interesting.
Well, in the Simpsons episode, the $1 trillion bill gets stolen by Castro. So
that seems unlikely. Unless it's his brother. Is his brother still kicking around?
I think so.
Leo, whatever his name is.
They don't really talk about very much about him anymore.
Keep it a low pro.
That's right.
Low pro. I have a few. Husband of police officer who slept with 6 coworkers is staying with her. Have you guys heard about this?
No,
I did run across that, yeah.
So apparently there's this young lady, Megan, and she was a police officer in Tennessee. She slept with 6 of her fellow officers, which came out and has now become a meme throughout the internet. So if you just Google, I think her last name's Hall, Megan Hall, you'll just see a bunch of them pop up. But yeah, according to local reports, the former officer engaged in many sexual relationships with these men, exchanged explicit photos, yada yada yada. Also claimed to be in an open relationship with her husband, but that's pretty open. I don't think they really set a lot of ground rules, but yeah, if he wants to stay with her, good on him. But that is crazy pants. I would.
Has this already been optioned as a sitcom? Because it sounds like right up the alley.
Right? It should be.
Oh, that'd be a great sitcom, Tyson.
Well, you know what? I don't know.
It's hilarious though, and it should be, because if you see a picture of this woman, she looks like the sweetest little girl. I mean, it's really messed up. I had the same thought.
I was like, huh? I was like, really?
Ooh, yeah. She grew up in a very tight household. But that whole thing is funny. And then in Hays, Kansas news, there's a new cafe opening up. This is going to be my new weekly bit.
Tell me more.
And it's called Cattleman's. And it's going to go, Smith, you know where that old, well, it's not really old, the coffee shop that opened up, Mocha's, next
Yes,
to
oh,
Dairy
absolutely. Right
Queen?
across from Dairy Queen, yeah.
So that is where it's going to go. It's going to open in mid-February, and they're going to serve grandma's favorites. And it's so funny when I think the Hayes Post was doing an interview with the owner, and he was like, "There's going to be pot roast, mashed potatoes, and corn."
Yeah.
Oh, I love Hayes. I love
Oh,
Hayes so much.
yeah.
So yeah, get your corn in
Yeah.
mid-February. And then in Colorado news, a tibia and fibula of a long-necked sauropod dinosaur was discovered in southern Colorado. I feel like dinosaur bones are constantly being discovered in this lovely state of ours. But this is pretty cool. You can actually go to, I think, the Royal Gorge Regional Museum and History Center and see them actually continuing to
Oh, that's
essentially
cool.
like excavate and whatnot. So yeah, if you're in that area, I would love to go see that.
That's cool.
And yeah, sauropod, I mean, they basically look like a brontosaurus. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, what is the real difference? But whatever. Four-legged creature, long neck, vegetarian. Yeah.
You know, I think it was it the Brontosaurus that I think was one of the ones they realized wasn't real.
Yeah.
I think that might have been what it
Was
was.
it the brontosaurus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it might have been the Brontosaurus. I can't. It's been a while since I was in the third grade, but it was. I was really into dinosaurs in the third grade.
I actually just saw a thing about that.
Every guy was.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you been to the Royal Gorge?
Yes, it's terrifying.
Yeah,
I don't like heights, so yeah.
And it's like, and I think the Seven Falls is right there too. I don't know if you've ever been to that.
Seven Falls is pretty cool.
Yeah, but the walk up. Oh my god,
the walk's cool.
The walk is we actually went whitewater rafting in the Royal Gorge, and that was pretty cool.
That wouldn't be so bad. You're just looking.
Yeah, because you're looking up. But I mean, and that actually terrified me too, because I was like, oh my god, I've walked across that bridge. So I immediately looked down at the river and the rapids coming ahead. So that was terrifying in and of itself. But fun for adventure seekers out there. And then the last one is there are a couple tours that were announced this past week. Madonna is probably on the top of that list with the weirdest announcement. She had you guys have to see it on YouTube, but just Google Madonna's. Did you see it?
I read about it. I didn't watch the video, but I mean,
it's bizarre. She's got Amy Schumer, Jack Black, a bunch of other people, just randos around this table, and they're playing Truth or Dare, of course. And Amy Schumer dares her to go on a world tour. She's like, oh, so I'll play all 4 decades, blah, 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 my hits, all this stuff. So anyway, I love Madonna. I'm actually excited about it. The tickets are horrendously expensive.
Oh,
but
I bet.
It's happening, people.
Come on, Madonna. 4 decades. Come on, let's 2 maybe. 2 decades. Decade and a half.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's true.
I don't know if you guys remember her platinum selling 2018 album. Jesus Christ! Sorry,
it's been a lot of Madonna for many decades. So, but I'm into it. I'm into a lot of it, not most of it, but a lot of it. And then David Bazan, who we all love, Pedro the Lion is touring for 3 months this year. So if you can, check that out because it's the Control album, which
very nice.
And
us three love.
Yeah,
and it's hard to find
a friend. I bought tickets. I got pre-sales.
You did? Yay! Cool.
I sent my brother-in-law. I said I bought you Pedro the Lion's tickets if you want to go, and he's like, "Well, that sounds fun." Beth won't go. She fucking hates. She just can't stand Pedro the Lion. She hates his voice.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Beth, Jonas does too. He calls him David Buzan. I'm not lying.
So, anyways, I was like, I'm gonna get tickets. I assume you don't want to go, and she's like, "You're right, I don't want to go." And so I asked her brother, and he's like, "I never heard of them." And I said, "You should listen to this record." I sent him a link to the Control. I said, "It's devastating."
It is.
And he wrote back today. Apparently, he listened to it because he wrote back just as after we started this podcast. And he said that music is awesome and so sad.
So sad.
Yeah,
So sad.
well, I thought
I
I better
loved it.
warn him just in case. But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's a good
that's
call.
those are both great records. So I'm very excited. I
Yeah,
wish they
it's
were
gonna be
touring
so
as
good.
I one time saw him tour as a 5-piece, and now he only tours as a 3-piece. But that 5-piece show was awesome.
The 5-piece show I saw, and I didn't even know who Pedro the Lion was. He opened up, I think, for Spoon in Lawrence
That
at
was
the
a
Bottleneck. It was insane.
fantastic show. Wow.
It was so good. Everybody was like fucking loving it. Yeah. Um. So yeah, that's my plug. Those are my plugs. The end.
All right.
Are we doing plugs?
Or headlines. Sorry. I think
Headlines.
yeah, we should do plugs.
We should do
Got,
plugs.
we got 10 minutes, guys.
I got
All right.
one. So, all right, Dyson, we'll start with you.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I watched the first episode of that '90s show on Netflix. Um, so I was trying to explain this to Beth last night. So part of the reason the '70s show was enjoyable is because the cast had great chemistry, right? So that was like the writing is not Arrested Development, obviously, and but the characters are really likable, and so I watched the '90s show, which pretty much has everybody except for Danny Masterson, who's currently on trial for many rapes. Um,
Oof.
but like the first episode had Eric and Donna and Kelso and uh, Jackie and the mom and the dad, the Foremans, are main characters. Anyway, there's a lot of callbacks to the original series, which makes it worth watching if you were a fan. Even if you were a casual fan, it's probably worth watching. But don't expect wildly inventive, clever plots or anything like that. I mean, they accidentally got a keg, in the first episode. The
Well,
kids
to be
did.
fair, the '70s shows was not sort of, I don't know, the
No,
echelon of
no.
looking now.
But it was
It
fun
was
to
an
watch.
entertaining show, so that's sort
Yeah,
of, if it's along those same lines, then I'll probably, yeah.
yeah. The thing is though, like the kids are all brand new and they don't have that chemistry yet. But I assume by 10 or maybe 5 or 6 episodes, that'll be there. But
Yeah.
definitely the old cast has the same energy that they used to have.
Yeah.
So, but really, what I want to talk about is Velma because Jesus Christ,
Ah.
what has happened to the internet? They fucking hate it. I
They hate it.
I really like it. I think the
You
cast.
do.
I do. The cast is excellent. It's funny. It's got visual gags and pretty great. Um, I would say dialogue. Um, and it's not a prequel to Scooby Doo. It's basically a reimagining. So,
Well, they don't, and correct me if I'm wrong, they don't have Scooby Doo or Shaggy in it, right?
no, they have Shaggy, but there's
Oh, okay.
no. But he's no, he's black now, and he is very anti-drugs, which is very funny. And Daphne's Asian American,
Uh-huh.
and and Fred is. I don't know. I love what they did with Fred. He's basically a man child, which he basically was in the show
Well,
anyway.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But I think it's great, and I went to IMDb after watching the first 2 episodes last Thursday, and it's got the lowest. It's got one of the lowest IMDb scores, like across the board. People are just upset about it. And then I was
Wow.
reading about people are attacking Mindy Kaling for like lazy writing, because I guess in all her shows she plays the same type of character, which is Mindy Kaling. If you've ever read her book, she's basically playing herself in all these, the
Yeah.
Mindy Project. I mean, she's Velma in this. Um, Glenn Howerton from Sunny in Philly and AP Bio is Fred, and he's great.
No, that's kind of cool. Okay, that
Constance
makes me want to
Wu,
see it.
Constance Wu, Sam
Uh-huh.
Richardson is Shaggy.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, and then like I mean, and like uh, uh, um, like it's just a really good voice cast. Stephen Root was
Hmm.
in this last episode I watched. So was Jim Rash from Community, and then yeah. So, but it's scarier, and Beth didn't like it because there's quite a bit of gore, actually, a little bit. Like
Really?
yeah.
Hmm.
But I've watched 4 episodes, and I think it's quite good for what it is. And it was the number one most watched animated show on HBO Max history. And it's
Oh,
all,
wow.
and I
Okay.
read that it's already been basically they're pretty sure it's already been cleared for a sequel. But yeah, it's just I'd never seen anything blow up about it so much. It was just really strange. I don't know. Maybe
That's
you
really
guys
weird.
didn't see it or anything, but like it's got good reviews, mixed reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. But I mean, I don't know what people were expecting. I was expecting this, so like
Right.
so
Right.
so I was fine with it. Anyway, I didn't, and we were just watching Marvel movies, and I am addicted to this thing um, on YouTube called this guy named James Parrish, and he does this show called NES Works, and basically
Hmm.
it's the history of every Nintendo release. He reviews them
Hmm.
and shows them, and he does like 2 or 3 an episode. The episodes are around 15 to 20 minutes long, and his name's
Hmm.
and I'm on episode 72. I mean, I'm addicted to this, and this is only
Wow.
because it starts with Famicom, which was the first NES version in uh, in Japan, and then we just got to the United States version, and so I'm in 1988 was basically the second year, but
Oh,
been
go ahead. Sorry, Tyson.
it's been fun because you know I couldn't afford all these games when I was, so it's been
Yeah.
interesting to watch. A lot of them are terrible, some of them are great, but like he reviewed the Goonies too, which I'd never even heard of that game, but he was like it's pretty good, and it did look fun. So anyway,
Yeah, I just saw it's Jeremy Parrish, who I
yeah,
know from IGN is the guy that does it. Yeah, I listened to it uh, long. It's probably been around for like 15 years. Called the Retro Knots podcast that he does similar vein. Uh, so with a bunch of other people. So very
yeah,
cool. I will check it out.
yeah,
I didn't know there was a YouTube channel. So I will.
yeah. There's actually a playlist that puts everything in chronological order, starting with like so I definitely would recommend watching that. But you'll see a lot of stuff about Famicom and the Sega version of the Japanese, and then eventually we get to the U.S. version. And then after that, he goes through the Game Boy games, and he goes to the Super NES.
Oh, that's
I mean,
cool.
it's literally thousands of hours of content, and I don't know. I just keep watching it like an idiot. Like I'm like, oh. So anyway, that's my other plug.
Very nice. Smith?
Yeah, I just have a quick one, and this was a movie that we found on Netflix, kind of stumbled upon a few nights ago, and it's called "I Used to Be Famous," and it's
Hmm.
on Netflix. And basically, the premise is there's sort of this washed-up, kind of like British pop star that was kind of like sort of like an NSYNC equivalent from like the late '90s. And I can't remember what the name of the there was an actual British boy band at some point in time. I just can't remember the name. Well, it wasn't One Direction. Well, I think they were later. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. McFly. McFly was another one. But anyway, and it's just a really. I have to warn you, you'll hate this movie, Tyson, because it's very sappy. But it's about like this. He's kind of washed up, and he meets this autistic kid in the park who like is like just playing on like a bucket or something, and
I'm
it's just
already
yeah,
I'm already
this
out.
is like
No.
this is like yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
and I was, and I did think it'd be a little saccharine, but no, it was actually a really sweet movie. I thought it
Cool.
was really good. It's called "It Used to Be Famous." It just kind of explores their relationships and sort of the turmoils of celebrity gone, and of course, like he's got like the ex bandmates that are all still famous in other solo careers. But I don't know, very cute movie. So try it sometime, Tyson. Just
All right,
try
all right,
feeling.
all right.
Try feeling.
We'll watch right after.
Everybody's doing it, Tice.
Everybody's doing it,
I'll
Tice.
do I'll
I
do a
think
double header with the peanut butter falcon, and we'll get all my autistic things in a row, and I'll just make a day out of it.
uh, anyway, that's all I had. That was quick. So
I'll have an autistic day, Tyson.
What?
All right. Sorry, that got me in the giggles. Okay. I have quite a few plugs, but I'll run through these pretty quickly. And I have one unplug. Okay, so there is a newish documentary on Amazon Prime. I think it came out at the end of 2022 in December, maybe, called Wildcat. Have you guys watched this? Heard of
not
this?
yet. It's on our list. We watched the trailer, I think, but yeah, we're in.
Uh, get a box of Kleenex. Just be okay with ugly crying. It's amazing. It's the story of this veteran who goes to this animal rescue, meets this woman that he falls in love with, but also meets this cat that he helps to essentially put back out into nature. And that's all I'm going to say. It's amazing what they do with the animals in general at this rehabilitation center, and I'm just such a fan of it, and him and his story, and this woman Samantha Zwicker who started it. There's just a lot of different stories converging, and I love it. So if you're a big animal person, not just a cat person, just animals in general, you'll love it. And then there's an older documentary on, I think, HBO Max called Kusama Infinity, based on the works of Yayoi Kusama, Japanese artist. She did a lot of like dots and things like that. She also did those like soft fabric penis chairs. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of those in any museum. I love her. She's out there, but very progressive. And it's a really interesting documentary to see because she was in New York, I want to say in the late 50s. And then what really spawned a lot of the pop artists to break out of certain areas, like Andy Warhol stole her shit, for example, other guys. So it's really interesting to watch. Check it out. And then there's a new movie on HBO Max called The Menu. Have you guys watched that?
Not yet.
Did you like it, Tice?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Okay.
I've finally convinced Beth to watch it because she thinks it's going to be a kind of a horror movie, and I'm like, I think I don't
It
know.
is a little bit.
But she also is a foodie, so I mean, I'm working that angle too. So,
I think she'll like it a lot. I think foodies especially will really love it, what they do with it. And that's all I'm going to say. And I love Ray Fiennes, who is the head chef in it.
yeah.
He's perfect in everything he does. So you guys will like it. And then we watched a new series. I'm just plugging HBO Max this week. Fucking killing it. New series called The Last of Us. Have you guys watched that or started it yet?
Not yet.
Yeah. What did you guys think of it?
Loved it. And I'm not a
Really?
video game person. I know it's like for PlayStation only or based off of that. But Jonas loved it, and so did I. It's really good. It's kind of like it really is like The Mandalorian, but with zombies.
Well, until you said zombies, I probably could have got Beth to watch that based on your
Shit.
review alone. But
Sweet, gentle zombies.
no, I'm gonna watch it. They've been hyping the shit out of it. So.
Oh, it's fucking good. It's great. And then we just watched a really good documentary last night called Jurassic Punk. Have you guys seen that or heard of it?
I don't think so. What is it? That sounds familiar, but
you can. I didn't see it on any of the streaming services, but you can rent it on iTunes. It's about this guy Steve Williams, who they called Spaz, who basically changed film with Jurassic Park from like computer graphics only.
Yeah. Okay.
To where we're at right now.
I have heard of that. Yeah.
It's so good. I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's very interesting, like the story that he tells and what he went through. It's got a bunch of political bullshit, of course. But yeah, we both really liked it. So
that's got really good reviews on.
Yeah, it's great. Whoever I should have looked up who produced it and directed it, but it's fantastic. And then Unplug is a newish movie on Hulu called Gone in the Night with Winona Ryder. You guys,
we almost watched that this afternoon. We looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes, and we were like, we'll watch something else. So we
did. It is bad. It honestly had me wondering if Winona Ryder is actually a good actress or if she's just pretty. For real. It's not good at all.
Well, she'll always have Heathers. So.
Yeah.
She's great in that. And that's what I was telling Jonas. I was like, she's really great in a lot of movies, I think. I haven't seen them in a while, but this movie has made me like really just rethink everything.
Is it her or is it the script or is it both? Or
it's got to be the script, but it's the way that she plays the character too. I'm just like, She just seems to be struggling a lot. Yeah.
Well, you know.
I love her though. I love Winona Ryder. Please do not bark at me online. I'm a big fan, but this is a
Yeah.
bad movie. Really bad. I want to erase it from my brain. All right, that's it.
We're good.
We've plugged and
Yeah.
unplugged. Yep.
Plugs, unplugs.
Plugs and unplugs. All right. Well,
Well,
let's
All right.
go
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go Chiefs.
Let's go Smith's nephew.
Let's
I hope
go.
you guys
Allie.
have a great time.
We will.
All right. Always a pleasure,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye guys.
Bye.